Right guys, welcome to this afternoon's live intermediate maths lesson, okay? If you are tuning in now, comments are going off as normal. If you are tuning in now, okay, get your stuff ready and have a go at what's on the page in front of you, okay? Remember, as usual, okay, same topics, okay, every single time each week, okay? Only to make sure you remember them really, really well, okay? That's why we do them over and over again, because they're really important, okay? They're super, super important. It's important we learn them and get them really good at them. So, have a go at this, please. Venn diagrams is the topic for today. Have a go, and I'm going to go through them in roughly 5 minutes. Millie, stop. Millie. Right guys, last minute and I'm going to go through it. Right then guys, so very quickly I'm just going to go through each of these, okay? So first one's first, I got 6x take away 12, solving equations for 2 points. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that minus 12, so I'm going to add 12 to both sides. 6x moves straight down. Minus 12 plus 12 is nothing. 30 plus 12 is 42. Then I'm going to divide by 6, to get rid of that 6x. Turn it into just an x. X equals 42 divided by 6 gives you just a positive 7. 2 points. Then 0.3 times 0.8. Okay, 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, I can do the single digit version. Okay, looking at this, I've got 2 numbers after the decimal point, so I've got to count back 1, 2, put a decimal point into my answer, put a 0 before it. My answer is 0.24 for 1 mark. Next one. Okay, a bit of trigonometry, very straightforward topic. It just takes loads and loads of practice, okay? There's my angle. So this is my opposite side. Hypotenuse. Adjacent. Okay, I always write down SOHCAHTOA first before I start. Okay, I cross off the one I don't need. In this case, I don't need hypotenuse because it's not got anything attached. Opposite is x, adjacent is 8. Okay, hypotenuse hasn't got anything, so I'm going to cross that off. Also going to cross that over there, so I'm going to be using TOA, tan. I draw my tan triangle out, T, O, and A. Times on the bottom. Now, I'm trying to find opposite, so I've got to write O equals. If I cover O on my triangle, whatever's left is my working out. My working out is tan times by A. Tan 67 times by A, which is 8. Take my calculator. Tan 67 times by 8 gives me 18.8 centimeters. That's that one done too. 3 marks. Underneath I got solving, factorize and solve a quadratic. Okay, remember you've got to find 2 numbers. They've got to multiply to make plus 12 and add to make negative 7. Okay, so I'm going to open my double bracket, x and x. They're going to multiply to make positive 12, add to make negative 7. It's going to have to be 3 and 4 to multiply to make 12. And it's going to be minus 3 and minus 4 to add to make negative 7. If x minus 3 and x minus 4 multiply to make 0, okay, one of these brackets is going to have to cancel out to make 0. So x could either be positive 3 in this bracket or x could be positive 4 in this bracket, because those brackets multiply to make 0. One of them has to cancel out to make 0. So those are the 2 x values you could have. That's worth 3 points. Next, we've got a bit of indices, okay, really straightforward. The 2 times the 6, you multiply that like there's normal numbers. 2 times 6 is 12. And then the x's, you add them together. You always add the powers when you're multiplying in indices. x7 and x7 gives me 12x to the power of 14. 2 points for that one. 3 over 4 take away 1 over 5. Okay, really straightforward adding fractions. Okay, multiply the bottoms together. 4 times 5 is 20 on the bottom of both. Still a takeaway question. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 1 is 4. 15 take away 4 is 11. 20 and 20, so it's got to be 20 in the answer. My answer is 11 over 20. Next one, 35% of 120. Okay, this is worth 1 point. Okay, 10% first. 10% is 12. 30% would be 3 times that, because we need 30 to make 35%. 30% would be 3 times that, which would be 36. Then if I want 5%, I'm going to half 10%, so 5% is 6. Then if I want 35%, I'm going to add the bottom 2 up. That gives me 42. So 35% is 42. Last bit. 3x plus 3y equals 21. 5x minus 5y equals 25. Okay, I've got to make the y's the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to times the top by 5, times the bottom by 3. If I times the top by 5, I end up with 15x plus 15y equals 105. Then the bottom, times that by 3, I end up with 15x, take away 15y equals 75. Okay, now I got, if they're different, you add. If they're the same, you subtract. Different signs, so I'm going to add together. I end up with 30x equals, they cancel out to me nothing, equals 180. If 30x equals 180, divided by 30, x would have to be 6. If x is 6, I'm going to put that x is 6 in the top one. So instead of writing 3x plus 3y equals 21, I'm going to write 3 times 6 plus 3y equals 21, which is 18 plus 3y equals 21. If I take away 18 from both sides, I end up with 3y equals 3. That means y would have to be 1. Guys, if you've got that right, that's really, really good. Simultaneous equations is a topic that you need to learn off by heart. Okay, I think we did it last week or so. Right, very last one. Okay, nth term of 2, 6, 10, 14 and 18. Okay, you're looking at your jumps, what it's going up in each time. It's going up in 4, so it's going to be 4n. And then you're looking what comes before the first number. Whatever comes before the first number goes on the end. It's going up in 4, so before 2 is going to be negative 2. So my answer for my nth term formula is 4n take away 2. Guys, that was 8 out of 18. If you want to send me your scores, please do. Okay, I love hearing how you did. If you don't want to, just make sure you're getting around about 15 or more each time. Remember to be honest with yourself, because no one's checking. Okay, remember to be honest with yourself. Don't just mark them right when I'm doing them. Right then, so Venn diagrams are really straightforward. Okay, I like Venn diagrams. Quite an easy topic. Okay, it's one that you can learn quite quickly. Okay. We're going to get on to GCSE questions very quickly. Okay, so the teacher example, put the numbers 1 to 10 in the Venn diagram below. On the left, I've got numbers that are 5 or less. On this side, I've got factors of 12, and in the middle is the ones that are both. Now, factors is important. Factors of 12 means numbers that multiply together to make the number 12. Numbers that multiply to make 12, 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. And that's all the ones I can think of. But all of these are factors of 12, so it's important to know what they are before you start the question. Now, put the numbers 1 to 10. 1 is a factor of 12, and 1 is less than 5, so 1 can go in the middle. 2 is a factor of 12, and 2 is less than 5, so 2 can go in the middle. 3 is a factor of 12, and 3 is less than 5, so 3 can go in the middle. 4 is a factor of 12, and 4 is less than 5, so 4 can go in the middle. So I've jammed my middle bit section up now. 5 is 5 or less, but it's not a factor of 12, so 5 is going to go over here. 6 is a factor of 12, but it's not 5 or less, so 6 can go over here. 7 is nothing, it's neither of them, so it's going to go on the outside. 8 is neither, so it'll go on the outside as well. 9 is neither, and 10 is also neither. Okay, so that's how your Venn diagram would look for those two circles. What I'd like you to do, get that written down for me, please, and then have a go at doing the one over this side. You have a go at this one over here. I'll turn the brightness up slightly just to make it easy for you to see. You will need to draw these out if you're looking at filling them in. Just do it rough hand. You don't have to draw perfect circles. I don't. And make sure you get that example down on the left. Right, guys, so this one down by here on the right hand side. Now, this is square numbers and multiples of 3. Now, multiples of 3 is easy. That's just numbers in the 3 times table. Square numbers is the one everyone forgets. Okay, all a square number is, squaring a number is when you multiply a number by itself. All a square number is the answer. So, like 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. Those are the square numbers. Those are the first 5 square numbers. That's all 1 is. Okay, so the ones between 1 and 10 are 1, 4, and 9. They're the ones we need to pay attention to. Now, put the numbers 1 to 10 in the Venn diagram below. Okay, square numbers and multiples of 3. Is 1 a square number? Yes. Is it in the 3 times table? No. 2 is in the square number. It's not in the 3 times table. 3 is in the 3 times table, but it's not a square number. 4 is a square number, but it's not in the 3 times table. 5 isn't either. 6 is in the 3 times table. 7 isn't in either. 8 isn't in either. 9 is both. And 10 isn't either one. Okay? And that's how it works. That's all Venn diagrams are, just to start us off. That's the basics of them. So if you can get that mark to me, whatever you did, make sure it's the same ideally. If you made some mistakes, that's okay. It's going to happen at the start. If you get them perfectly right, that's really, really good. Right, what I'd like you to do is a couple there for you to have a go at. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'm going to start doing them after about 30 seconds time. So you've got to try and stay ahead of me if you can. You're using the numbers 1 to 10 again. The only one you might not know is prime numbers in the bottom left. If you don't know what that is, a prime number is a number, the only way to multiply to make that number is 1 times itself. That's the only way to make that number. That's a prime number. Right guys, just to finish it off, numbers you should have over here now, prime numbers and factor of 18. Okay, 1 is a factor of 18, 2 is prime and a factor of 18, 3 is prime and a factor of 18, 4 is neither, 5 is prime, 6 is a factor of 18, 7 is prime, 8 is neither, 9 is a factor of 18, and 10 is neither. So that's what you should have, guys. Can you mark whatever you've done, please, anything you've done so far? Those are the one type you could be asked at intermediate level. Okay, there's probably the easier one. You'll probably have one of those at foundation. Okay, but intermediate you may have one of those. That's probably the easier version. What you normally have, okay, make sure those are marked. If they're not marked, mark them after the session. What you normally have is one that looks like this. Okay, it's a little bit different. Okay. So, if I look at the left-hand side, altogether 65 people took part in track events, 38 did both track and field events, and 67 did neither. Okay, so this is what we've got to fill in the Venn diagram. We've got to try and fill it in using the information we've got. Right, I think what we're missing by here as well is there's 200 pupils altogether. I think we cut that bit out. Okay, it's 200 pupils altogether. Now, altogether 65 people took part in track events. So 65, we don't know, we can't fill that in because that includes the middle bit as well. 67 people did neither. This is an important point. So 67 people did neither, so I'm going to put 67 on the outside. They didn't do anything. 38 pupils did both track and field, so 38 can go in the middle. And then 65 took part in just track. Okay, so this is the important bit as well. So I filled in 38 people did both, so those 38 go in the middle, 67 go on the outside. 65 took part in track, so that means this one, this number by here, and this number by there, that's both in a track circle. So if 65 people did track, 65 take away 38 gives me 27. So there's 27 people did just track, 38 people did a bit of both, and if it's 200 people altogether, 65 and 67 is 132, and if I take that away from 200 people that did it altogether, 200 take away 132 gives me 68 people that did just field. Okay, and that's how you fill one of those in. Right guys, get that down as an example. Make sure that's written down somewhere. It takes a little bit of thinking. Okay, we got one over here about cats and dogs. Okay, have a go at that one for me. Okay, get that left one down and have a go to one over there. Right, guys, so it does take a little bit of backward thinking, okay? Start from the bottom bullet point. 8 have a dog but don't have a cat. So if 8 have a dog but don't have a cat, that's going to go in this bit by here. So they definitely have a dog, but they don't go over into the cat circle. These people in the middle have both. If 21 have a dog altogether and 8 people just have a dog, that would mean 13 people have a dog and a cat. Then if 16 people have a cat and 13 people have a dog and a cat, 3 people will have both just a cat, if that makes any sense. And then once you've filled those in, so remember, going back through it, 8 people have a dog but not a cat, that can go straight into this circle. This is where it crosses over. These people have a bit of both. If 21 people have a dog, that would mean these two have to add up to 21, so that's 13. And then 16 people have a cat, so these 2 people would have to add up to 16, so that has to be 3. I got 8, 13 and 3, which is 24, so that means 6 people don't have a pet at all. Okay, 6 people are going on the outside because there's 30 students altogether. Guys, get that marked up. Let's move on to an actual GCSE question. So this is what actual GCSE would look like, okay? So at a college, total of 20, assuming a little bit. At a college, total of 28 students or more do the science subjects, biology, chemistry, and physics. 28 students form the universal set. Some of the parts of the Venn diagram filled in for you. Okay, it's also known that 5 students study only biology, 13 students study chemistry. Now, I want you to start this one off. If you're not sure, don't worry. I'm going to start going through it in about 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds or more. Okay, I'll start going through it. Just see if you can make a start for me. If you're not watching this live, pause the video and have a go yourself. Right then, guys, so it says these bullet points always contain the answer, okay? So focus on the bullet points. I've got 1, 2, 3 numbers that I've got to fill in, okay? Everything else is filled in for me. Now it says 5 students study only biology. There's the biology circle, so that one's going to be 5. That's easy, okay? Once you're there, it says 13 students study chemistry. If 13 students study chemistry, I've got a 1, a 2, and a 6, which makes it 9. That bit completes the chemistry circle. If they make 9, that's got to be 4. Now, altogether, I got 28 pupils, so I've got to add up my circles. I've got a 5, a 2, a 6, a 3, a 4, and a 1. They all add up to make 21. If I've got 28 pupils altogether, this number on the bottom has to add on to 21 to make 28, so that has to be 7. That's my Venn diagram filled in. Now, at the bottom, it says how many students study biology and chemistry but not physics. Biology and chemistry, but not physics, is this person up here. Okay, those 2 people, so it's 2. Next, one of the students is chosen at random. What is the probability they study biology? Okay, now the probability is always out of 28. Okay, every single time, because there's 28 people. It's always out of the total. Now, what's the probability they study biology? Well, biology is 5, that just study biology, is 2 to study a bit of both, 6 to study all 3, and 3 to study a bit of both. So if I add those up, 5 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3 is 14, all out of 28, or 16, sorry, 16 not 14, 16 out of 28, which does simplify down to 4 over 7 if you want to simplify it. That's that one down at the bottom. That's all Venn diagrams are. That was worth 6 marks, which is huge at intermediate, okay? Very straightforward topic, very worth learning, okay? Have a look at this GCSE question by there. Group of 20 people visited Anglesey for a weekend break. 10 people went to the castle. 13 people went to the lighthouse. 4 people didn't go to either one of those places. Okay, this is a trick question, so take your time on it. Okay, I'll give you a minute, and then once you've gone for a minute, I'll go through it at the end. Right, guys, so this one takes a lot of brain power, okay? 4 people don't go to either of these places, so I can put that 4 on the outside already. There's 20 people altogether. Now, if I take away 4 from 20, I'm left with 16 people. Okay, so these 3 spaces take up 16 people. Now, these 3 spaces take up 16 people. 10 people went to the castle, 13 people went to the lighthouse. Well, that adds to 23, so you can't just put these numbers in. Okay, so you've got to do some working out first. Now, if 16 people went to all 3 of these places, and 10 people went to the castle, these 3 add to 16. If I completely cover the castle, underneath that blue scribble is meant to be 10 people. All 3 add to 16. Well, there's 1 left. So 3 add to 16, but I've scribbled out the 10 by there. That has to be 6. Okay, now, if I come back to these 2, that's 6. Lighthouse was 13 people. So this plus this must add to 13. So that bit there's got to be 7. And then I've got a 4, a 6, and a 7. 4 plus 6 plus 7 is 17. The bit on the end is 20 people altogether. So that has to be 3. Okay, it's a little bit of backwards thinking, but you've got to try and work through them like that. One person's chosen randomly from the group. What's the probability they only visit one of the 2 places? They only visited 1. The people that only visited 1, this 3 people by here, and these 6 people by there. 3 and 6 is 9, out of a possible 20. 9 out of 20. All probability is a fraction. Okay, so make sure you get that bit right. Right, guys, well done for those who tuned in today. I'm really proud of all of you again. Remember, this is going to go up. All these lessons will go up. And if you miss any, don't worry. Guys, proud of all your hard work and keep it up.